Thank you, everybody, for having us here today. My name is Patrick, and I'm here to present ResearchHub. So our mission is to use cryptocurrency to align incentives in academic science in order to accelerate the pace of scientific research. So a little bit on our background. I'm a huge science nerd. When I was an undergrad, I was very lucky to study epigenetics at Johns Hopkins. I fell in love with academic science, decided to start a PhD in microbiology, was quickly astounded by the inefficiencies that exist in how the world funds scientific research and also publishes it. I ended up seeing a lot of issues within academic science that reduced the quality of life for the average grad student and also resulted in a really low quality of result. So I was annoyed with this. I dropped out, decided to start medical school in the States instead, quickly found that clinical medicine is not a whole lot better than basic science, and that there are a lot of issues that exist with the financial incentives within scientific research. So I dropped out of medical school as well and decided to start a company in order to try and address this. Basically like a Reddit for science with a token incentive where you could reward scientists for participating in healthy research behaviors. At the same time, I was very lucky, and Brian Armstrong from Coinbase was thinking about the same problems. He has a sister who's a PhD in biology. He's seen a lot of the issues that exist within the incentives of academic science and wanted to start a project in order to try and fix it. So I got in touch with Brian. We decided to start working together on ResearchHub. Two of the big problems that we're hoping to address are both the publication of academic science and how the world funds academic science. I don't know if you are familiar, but the business model behind academic publications is crazy. Essentially, scientists will pay an article processing charge that can be between $2,000 to $12,000 in order to have a website basically host a PDF. It's pretty nuts, and it takes between 6 to 12 months to actually have that article be published on a website. So rather than just posting a PDF to Reddit, essentially it takes 6 months in order to actually see the science. So whenever you read a paper, you're actually looking 6 months into the past. And based on the way that we fund science, using bibliometrics or citation-based metrics as essentially the way that we decide who's a good scientist, we actually incentivize low-quality research. So if you are familiar, there's this concept called the replication crisis. People think that between 50 to 85% of all scientific research can't be replicated. So we're actually standing on very shaky scientific foundations due to the current incentive structures that exist within modern scientific research. So what are we doing at ResearchHub to try and address this? And I think a little bit more background on how scientific publishing actually works. Again, these companies basically just host PDFs. When I'm a scientist, I send my manuscript to a scientific journal. They'll recruit peer reviewers who are volunteers. They don't get paid. They do peer review, and then the journal will host a PDF. Again, scientists pay between $2,000 to $12,000 to have this happen, which is crazy. It's a huge market. There's 2.5 million papers published every year, and about $20 billion in revenue for these scientific publishers. And they have a crazy high profit margin, something like 40%. This is bigger than Google, Coca-Cola, Microsoft. So we think there's an opportunity here to try and address it. What we're doing with ResearchHub is basically building a new way to publish scientific research. We have an electronic lab notebook on our Reddit-style website where scientists can come and share preprints for free. Basically, they will post their manuscript to ResearchHub. We'll host it for free because it's just a PDF. There's millions of websites online to do that. And then we allow these authors to actually create bounties for peer review. So rather than relying on a for-profit journal who recruits volunteers, we allow scientists to use a token in order to incentivize other researchers to come in and share peer review. So here's what it looks like. On the left, you have basically a bounty where the scientists will request another expert to come in and share a peer review using ResearchCoin to incentivize them. And on the right, you actually see a peer review done by another expert who then shares their opinion about the scientist paper. And it's working really, really well. As I mentioned earlier, it takes between 6 to 12 months for the average peer review to happen. On ResearchHub, we're just under 10 days right now. So it's a pretty big improvement. In addition, we're actually doing a similar number of peer reviews to one of the biggest journals in the whole world, so Science or Nature. And we've only been doing it for about 5 months so far. Another thing that we're hoping to address with ResearchHub is funding. This is a huge market. So just in the US alone, there's about $20 billion annually from nonprofits to try and fund scientific research. If you look at the NIH, it's almost $50 billion annually. The way that we're thinking about it with ResearchHub is to create a structure that actually incentivizes reproducibility. So rather than having like a traditional grant application, we have scientists share pre-registrations, which have been shown to actually increase reproducibility in evidence-based fashion. So we have like crowdsourcing of these scientific projects using pre-registration as a replacement for grant applications. To make this whole system work, we have a utility token called ResearchCoin. When you create good content on ResearchHub, you earn ResearchCoin, and this can be used for a variety of functions on the website. It's a governance token, so whenever there's a change to the protocol, whether it be reputation or rewards, we have a community vote around it. In addition, if you're a scientist, you provide good peer reviews, you can actually use the ResearchCoin you earn in order to request other scientists to share a peer review on your paper. In addition, as I mentioned, we're messing around with funding too, so using ResearchCoin that you earn to help fund new projects as well. The business model around this is a fee. So whenever there's a transaction on ResearchHub, ResearchHub Incorporated takes 7%, and our ResearchHub Foundation takes 2%, which is then put to a community treasury that is governed by ResearchCoin holders. So far, we have a Reddit for Science, where we've been able so far to build a community of about 50,000 to 60,000 scientists. We're currently working on a GitHub for Science, so like a modern publication venue. And once we feel good about this, we'll start to move into an Amazon for Science, so helping to fund new scientific projects and have licensing rights come along with it. So yeah, here's our team. I'm extremely lucky to be working with Brian as a co-founder, and then Kobe is our lead engineer. So yeah, happy to answer any questions.